Okay, so we're going to do a pepper seed saving video to show you how we at Truelove Seeds harvest our pepper seeds and process them. So we're here with the pepperoni friariello. I'm probably saying it a little wrong. It's Italian. Pepperoni. And it's a frying pepper from southern Italy, outside of Naples, which is where my great-grandmother comes from. And so we're looking for, you see the peppers in many stages here. Green, turning a little maroon, and then turning red. You know, some of these are not quite all the way red, they're the maroon and red. So we're looking for all the way red. And then we kind of snap them off. There's a little web there. And they're fully red, that's when they're ripe. Peppers always start green or purple, some shade of green or purple. And that's not ripe. You don't want to take seeds from an unripe green or purple pepper. So they're going to turn red or orange or yellow, some fiery color, and you want it to go all the way red or orange or yellow so that you know that the seeds are fully ripe. So we're just going to go through and harvest all the fully red ones from this row, and then we'll show you how we cut into them, scrape out the seeds, dry them, etc. Okay, here's another pepper. It's a cayenne called Buena Mulata. It's a Horace Pippin pepper, so it came through African-American artist Horace Pippin, who lived here in Westchester, PA, shared the seeds with my mentor's grandfather, William Wise Weaver's grandfather, H. Ralph Weaver, in exchange for bee sting therapy for his war injuries in his arm. And so it's a very old pepper from the turn of the last century. And you can see that the peppers start, well really they start really small, like this yellowy green, and then of course they start as flowers, and then the yellowy green, and then they go to purple, and then this light purple, and then this like pale orange. Oops, I took it off, and then you can really see it, but then it's only really ripe at the red stage. So we're gonna only pick for seed these red ones, and we're not gonna take seeds from the other colors because they won't be fully ripe, and we want a good germination rate. We want really viable seeds. And so again, like with the tomato video that we just posted, you have to know when to harvest your seed crops for kind of peak viability. So we'll be going after all the red ones now. The other thing I'll say is, as we harvest, we're going to be careful because pepper plants are very brittle. Their branches come off really easily, so we could use clippers or just pull in a way that we don't think will break the whole branch off. Okay, so we're at the stage now where we've harvested peppers and we have graded them. Took out the unripe ones that had fallen off the plant with our harvest. Took off some that have blossom end rot, which is an issue with calcium uptake and, you know, inconsistent watering, which has been an issue for us this year with the way that the world is with climate change, and our irrigation system. And I've also selected out smaller fruits, and I picked my absolute favorite ones here in front of me very carefully. I looked for the ones that are cayenne shaped, kind of classic cayenne, long, very ripe, and these ones will be saved for our seed stock. You know, the fruits that we want to we want to make sure the best fruits will be what we plant our seeds from next year, sorry. So these are the very best fruits. We're gonna keep these separate for our seed stock. And what I do is I take off the top. With thin peppers like this, you can often just squeeze the seeds out like this. You know, I'm using gloves because this is a hot pepper. It's a cayenne type. Again, it's the Buena Mulata pepper from Horace Pippin. With the frying peppers from Italy, we won't use gloves because they're sweet peppers. But this, you know, even if you think you're not going to touch your face or anywhere else sensitive, you're going to do it. So it's good to use gloves. And of course we save these, and we dehydrate them, and we use them as pepper flakes later, or we freeze them and cook with them. We always have a freezer full of bags of peppers from the seed harvest. So these are a bunch of dehydrated Buena Mulata peppers. Here's some that's been powdered which we use in cooking and in our coffee in the morning. It's a great cayenne flavor. Add some spice. This is the yellow pepper, pepperoni. Dehydrated, super sweet. It's like condensed sunshiny sweetness when it's been dehydrated. And we also powdered some of that for cooking, and it's really delicious. So yeah, again, with these nice thin fruits, it's pretty easy to just go in there and squeeze out the seeds or scrape out the seeds with your hands. Maybe I should show you a fruit that's not shaped like this, or I'll just describe it. If it's a giant pepper, you would cut it at the top to expose the seed cavity, and then you cut it again down the center, and that becomes two halves that then you can easily get the seeds out of. They're usually attached to a pith, but you can pull the whole pith out and then later go through and massage the seeds off of it. Or you could dry it on the pith. It just gets, it's hard to separate the seeds from the pith later, or not that hard, but harder. And then from here, we're going to lay these out to dry, and I'll show that process next. So the next step is to lay out the seeds on a paper bag. That's what we do, where you label the date and the name of the pepper, and then we put it in the basement for a couple weeks to dry, where we have a dehumidifier and there's no direct sunlight. You can see that we are drying lots of types of seeds down here. We've got a fan, we've got a dehumidifier going that I turned off because of the sound. But here is pepper seeds drying. We have the name, pepperoni yellow, 8/13, so it's only been on here for a few days. And we dry everything for 2 weeks, no matter what it is. Dry seeds, wet seeds, so that there's no chance that it has moisture in it when it goes in the jar. So yeah, this is how we do it. There's no direct sunlight, it's pretty constant temperature down here. And then we'll put them in jars with a nice label on them. We'll do some final cleaning at the end of the season before we do the germination testing, just to pull off the unripe seeds and any remaining chaff through winnowing. And then we start packing them up and shipping them out to people. Okay, a couple other things about pepper seed saving to think about before you even start saving seeds is population size. You think about that with any type of seed crop. With peppers, you want to make sure you're not just saving from one plant for good genetic diversity. This is a row that's 45 feet long. We probably have 20-something plants in here, and that ensures that there's enough parents to have good resilience that comes from genetic diversity. It's not we're trying to work against inbreeding. And another thought is to keep your peppers separated. Most of the varieties that we eat are Capsicum annuum. There's a few other popular pepper species, and so you want to know the species you're working with and separate plants from within one species by a good amount. We try for 75 to 100 feet between different species. At a previous seed collection I worked with, it was more like 25 to 50 feet. Some people will say do 150 to 300 feet. So do your research. For us, we find almost zero crossing when we use 75 to 100 feet isolation between different varieties. So that works for us. So yeah, think about the number of plants you're saving from, think about the distance between them to prevent unwanted hybridization. And if that's not going to work for you because you're in a smaller space or a community garden, don't worry about it. Save from the seeds anyway, and in future years you can think about purifying the crop or diversifying the gene pool. So I'd say just go for it. But if you really want to think about, if you're selling seeds in particular, you want to make sure that your seeds are genetically diverse and not accidentally hybridized by being too close to other pepper varieties. Okay, I just want to end this pepper video. There's my chickens. Out here in my backyard garden, next to some of our favorite peppers. Here's the ají dulce pepper, still green. Here's the buena mulata, which you saw already in the video, but let's look again if we can see it. Yeah, purple to red. And then this beautiful Macedonian grilling pepper. It has these, I guess, striations. It's like almost a lattice work on the pepper. Anyway, we didn't show you how to winnow your dried seeds, but for home use, you can just put them away as is. Take some of the hand pick out some of the pith, the dried pith and pepper flesh. For at home, for seed selling, we winnow with our breath or with a seed cleaning machine to take off the lightweight bits that's not seeds, and to take off the unripened seeds, the lightweight seeds that aren't fully ripe. But at home, you can store them as is and plant them the next year. Okay, thanks for watching.